Dave, I can't imagine doing a film like this about what happened to you and your mom and everything. What gave you the strength to make a film like this, and why?
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to make it all at one time, so actually we took several years to make this thing and put it together in the way that we thought was the safest and the most presentable, and certainly watching out for anything that would be triggering for me, because there's a lot of information in there that would be triggering if you weren't doing personal work on your own during the process. So I was in, I made sure to stay close to therapy and good friends like Todd, and it worked out good.
Wow. While you were making this film, did you start to learn more things about yourself as what happened? And you get what I mean? Like you started to start.
I don't think so. I don't think I learned anything more about myself. I think things became a little bit clearer in terms of my mom's life. So I got a real nice bird's eye view of what her life was like and what my memory of it was like. But learning about myself, I don't really think so. I mean, I was maybe a little bit, but I was a kid when this happened. You know what I mean? So it's like, as a child, you're free of responsibility. You know what I mean? So all I could do is watch, and it was a tough time. So it took 30 years to get into the space where I was ready to tell a story. So maybe if I was to say if I learned anything, it would be that time is an important factor in terms of being ready to process something and talk about it.
Well, how did you come up with the title?
There's a song on my solo record called Mourning Son, and it's spelled the same way, and it just fit. It was a song about my mom, and we just went back and forth on it and thinking, should we change it? But it fits. Should we put the song in the movie? And I said, here's the deal. No song in the movie, keep the title. And it worked out great. So Todd, how did you get involved in this project?
I was fortunate enough to be friends with you, and the culmination of the project was Dave and I are cinephiles. We've worked together on a bunch of other projects. Our plan was eventually to film something. So the first natural idea was, let's shoot a documentary, something that's the story's already there. And Dave was like, well, I have the perfect story. So we started tackling it that way. And at first we just started in the sense of, let's just see if we can even tell the story at all. So up until like 3/4 of the way of filming, we weren't even sure that we were making a movie.
Yeah, we didn't really know how to make a movie. We just literally just went and made it.
Okay, so since you were doing this, how long did this process take? Since you didn't know what you were doing, kind of.
Well, it took almost 7 years. And granted, there was tours and stuff like that brought Dave away from the project, but it was a constant working. When you're shooting a documentary, one thing you learn is that you'll interview someone and they'll say something that you didn't know. So you have to chase down that avenue to see if it's part of the story you want to tell. So there was a lot of information that was disclosed that he didn't know about the case and that I didn't know. So there was, you take those turns and it takes time, And plus, when you're filming other people, especially who aren't actors or in this industry and stuff, you have to cater to them. They're not all sitting right here in Los Angeles. We had to find people. I had to hire a private investigator to find people from the case, investigators and police officers that worked the case and stuff like that were retired. So that took time as well.
Yeah, and a lot of this, this crime happened in 1983, and that was before the digital world. So there weren't backlogged digital. We went down to the library and went through the microfiche. That was the closest thing we had to the internet back then. So, it took a long time because there were a lot of impediments in terms of my schedule. The fact that we insisted on doing it ourselves, we didn't want anybody else's money because we didn't want anybody else's creative hand. This is my story, and then I'm going to have notes from the studio. That's not going to fly. You know what I mean? So it took what it took, and we're very happy with how it came out. And I want to thank you for your time.